The Hopi Reservation, located in the northeastern region of Arizona, consists of 3 unique communities, each situated on a distinct mesa. Among them, Walpi stands out as the oldest, having been established in 1690. This village is renowned for its deep historical heritage and cultural traditions that have remained alive over the centuries. Recorded in 1880, this card-style image, though showing signs of discoloration over time, captures attention by portraying 3 African-American horsemen. In dynamic poses, they hold their weapons firmly and with determination. The photograph serves as a tribute to the bravery and commitment of these soldiers. The image takes us back to Santa Fe, New Mexico, around 1880. At that time, the city buzzed with narratives and myths about Billy the Kid, a notorious outlaw of the Wild West. Billy's exploits still echoed in the minds of the local residents, permeating the city's streets and buildings. It seemed that any corner could have been the stage for one of his many adventures. William Frederick "Buffalo Bill" Cody, an iconic figure of the Wild West, passed away in Denver, Colorado, 105 years ago. Known as Buffalo Bill, his cultural and historical legacy continues to influence the present day. In his final words, he expressed a deep appreciation for the Old West, declaring, "The Old West of yesteryear, with its legendary figures, intense battles, and vast landscapes, will remain forever in my memory." During the hot summer months, Dodge City pulsed with energy and excitement. This animation was primarily fueled by the large cattle herds, accompanied by numerous cowboys. With pockets full of freshly earned money, these cowboys brought life and dynamism to the city. Alongside them, gamblers also arrived, drawn by the possibility of quick winnings. The photograph captures an impressive scene of approximately 600 silver bars, each weighing between 150 and 200 pounds. These heavy bars were a strategy used by industries at the time to prevent theft, as their weight made illegal transportation difficult. It is estimated that the total value of these bars exceeds $1.5 million, reflecting not only their quantity, but also their valuable historical importance. In one of his famous captures during the Trans-Mississippi and International Exposition of 1898 in Omaha, Nebraska, the renowned photographer Frank Reinhardt immortalized the bond between a mother and her child in a powerful image titled "Wichita." This photo stands out among the many captured by Reinhardt, known for his detailed and sensitive eye. The Klondike Gold Rush in the late 19th century mobilized about 100,000 adventurers, many from the American West, who were familiar with the challenges of urban expansion. They sought the promise of wealth and a prosperous life in this new and promising frontier. A historic moment was immortalized in the mid-1880s on Blake Street, in Denver, Colorado. The photograph shows the bustling urban scene with the famous Palace Theater on the left, frequented by celebrities of the time, including the notorious Doc Holliday, known for his skills in gambling. An intriguing image of Fort Apache, Arizona, dated February 4, 1898, reveals a personal touch with the inscription, "For Daddy's Man from Daddy," on the back. This photograph, possibly a gift from a father to his son, is a precious piece in the collection of Old West memorabilia. An elderly woman, dressed as if she had come directly from the 19th century, stands next to a modest grave in a serene field. This peaceful place is located on a farm in Kearney, Missouri. With a sad and reflective look, she gazes at the simple tombstone, inscribed only with the year 1882. The environment is completed by century-old trees and a farmhouse in the distance, reminiscent of the time of the American Old West. In 1873, 3 legendary figures of the Old West, Wild Bill Hickok, Texas Jack Omohundro, and Buffalo Bill Cody, starred in the play The Scouts of the Plains. This theatrical work mixed reality and fiction by telling the adventures of famous explorers and buffalo hunters on the American frontier. The great success of the show among audiences and critics inspired Buffalo Bill to create his own show, the famous Buffalo Bill Wild West. A stereoscopic image captures a remarkable moment when the Pawnee tribe receives cash payments and goods from the U.S. government as part of a treaty agreement. This photographic technique, called stereoscopy, creates an illusion of depth that can only be appreciated when viewed through a device called a stereoscope. The photograph, taken by the famous Norwegian photographer Fredrik Monsen in the late 1800s, shows a caravan of pioneers heading to California, the most prosperous and populous state of that time. The scene, captured in 1886 in Arizona, shows horse-drawn wagons and mule-powered carriages, in a time when Arizona was still not part of the United States. In 1909, the renowned Apache leader Geronimo passed away from pneumonia, complicated by a fall from a horse that left him exposed to the cold night air. His death occurred while he was detained at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, far from his homeland in the American Southwest, where he had spent the last 23 years of his life. Geronimo was one of the most courageous and respected warriors among the Apaches, and his death symbolized the end of an important historical period. In the 1860s, the United States was deeply divided over issues such as slavery and states' rights to self-govern. It was in this context that the American Civil War erupted, concentrating most of its ferocity in the eastern part of the country, where intense and bloody battles occurred. Meanwhile, in the West, especially in the mountains of Colorado, a period of prosperity and enrichment was beginning to emerge. This image is a relic from 1878, captured in Yuma, Arizona, which transports us directly to the heart of the Old West. The photograph reveals the daily routine of the time, marked by the operations of Wells Fargo and Company. The company was a vital force, responsible for moving goods, mail, money, and people across the American West, connecting isolated towns and regions. The scene in the next image dates back to the California Gold Rush and shows a group of miners in front of a wooden cabin. The image is a half-plate daguerreotype, one of the earliest photographic techniques, which used a copper plate covered with silver to capture images. This historical piece, dating from the same period, was auctioned for $83,650 at Cowan's Auctions in 2011. Pearl Hart, an infamous figure of the Old West, drew inspiration from Annie Oakley, known for her shooting skills and performances in shows. Unlike Oakley, who used her talent to entertain, Hart turned her skills to crime. Captured and imprisoned, her pregnancy in prison led the governor to grant her an early pardon. After her release, little is known about the details of her life, maintaining an air of mystery. A photograph of a woman from the Pawnee tribe, part of the digital collection at the Gilcrease Museum, illustrates the history of Native Americans in Oklahoma. Likely taken in the late 19th century, this image offers a glimpse into life on the Central Plains of the U.S., specifically in what is now Nebraska. The date and photographer are unknown, but its historical value is priceless. In 1861, the celebrated Civil War photographer Matthew Brady captured a scene that unites technology and nature. A military wooden bridge stretches over a body of water as a steam locomotive and a mail wagon cross it. The image captures the moment when the technological innovation of the time integrates with the natural environment. In this striking photograph, we find A.J. Blue, a Union soldier during the American Civil War. Dressed in a dark blue uniform and a black hat, he is armed with a variety of equipment. A long, curved blade sword stands out, serving both for attack and defense. Titled African American Cowboys, this 1865 studio portrait, made available by the Kansas Historical Society, provides no details about the individuals photographed or the exact location of the session. However, the image draws attention due to the men's clothing and the peculiar way their revolvers are attached to their belts, offering an intriguing glimpse into that historical period. In 1898, photographer Reinhardt captured the image of Chief Little Wound, a prominent figure of the Oglala Sioux tribe. The photograph radiates palpable emotion, despite the lack of detailed information about the context or circumstances under which it was taken. The chief's expression and the composition of the photo provide a fascinating insight into his personality and the historical context of the time. Tosawi, also known by names such as White Knife and Silver Brooch, stood out as an influential leader among the Penateca, a division of the Comanche. He gained recognition for his active participation in treaties and assemblies with European settlers, building a reputation as a mediator and collaborator in the pursuit of peace. In 1867, under the circumstances, Tosawi surrendered to U.S. military forces and signed the Treaty of Medicine Lodge, which required his people to relocate to a designated reservation. During the westward expansion of the United States, many frontier towns emerged with temporary structures similar to those captured in this photograph. These buildings were generally made of wood and covered with canvas or similar materials, making them cheap and quick to erect. This flexibility was essential for local merchants and residents who needed to adapt quickly to constant economic and environmental changes. Imagine how fascinating it would be to travel back in time and interact with the patrons of this saloon in 1890. These people lived in an era filled with challenges and excitement, where strength often dictated the rules, and a simple card game could drastically change someone's fortune. In this environment, amidst sips of drinks, intense negotiations, laughter, and occasional conflicts, they had no idea that their everyday experiences were weaving the narrative that we now know as the history of the American Old West.